Coming up on this week's episode of Punt Long, Julen Lopategui, a project destined to fail. Vichai, a community man. A Scottish football personality is featured on this week's Bellend, and the usual chat about Dunfermline Athletic Football Club. Enjoy! So, as the title said, Julen Lopategui, a project that was destined to fail for the start in my opinion. The man who left Spain just days before the World Cup has now been sacked after just 14 games as Real Madrid manager. And in my opinion, it's just another version of a modern day football experiment that was never destined to work out for the start. It all began with Zinedine Zidane unexpectedly leaving Real Madrid after winning the second Champions League in a row. Of course, that meant that it left Real Madrid in a situation where they didn't have a manager going into one of the shortest summers in recent memory due to the World Cup happening. Obviously it meant that the transfer window would be shorter and Real Madrid have less time to bring in players, and if they don't have a manager they're going to be put on an even smaller time scale if they have to recruit one of those as well. So they chose to go to the Spanish national team, who were then obviously stripped of their national team manager just days before the biggest competition in world football, the World Cup. The Spanish national team had to bring in a replacement for him straight away, and Real Madrid got their man. Julen Lopategui was the new Real Madrid manager. Lopategui then began his managerial career by losing one of the biggest talents and best in world football that will probably ever grace the game, Cristiano Ronaldo. And surely if Ronaldo had stayed, then Lopategui would have had at least a chance of keeping his job for another few months, considering the amount of goals and contribution Ronaldo would have had to that team. But it seemed like as soon as Ronaldo left, the team was missing a big gap, and the fact that they didn't replace Ronaldo led to that becoming even worse, because they just didn't have the quality to replace him in the attacking areas. Despite having talent like Gareth Bale, Benzema, Asensio and Lucas Vazquez up front, they never had that type of player that was Cristiano Ronaldo, and obviously he's a very hard player to replace in any team, but the fact that they were kind of audacious enough to not even look at getting a sort of replacement for him. They could have went to Eden Hazard at Chelsea, but they chose not to, and that was a bit of a stumbling block for them when it comes to looking on to further in the season, because they just didn't have the quality in the final third to really break teams down like they used to when they had Ronaldo at their disposal. We'll never know how that would have worked out if Ronaldo had stayed at Real Madrid, but what we do know is Ronaldo moved on to Juventus, and Lopategui began his Real Madrid career with 6 wins out of 14 games. He oversaw the club's longest goal drought and then got absolutely hammered 5-1 in the El Clasico at the weekend. And that was without Lionel Messi playing. And in my opinion, I think it's fair to say that this one was pretty dead before it even started. It all seemed to kind of conspire against Lopategui, considering what he lost and the position he came from in the first place. If he'd have stayed at Spain for the World Cup, who knows what could have happened after that. But the fact that it was all kind of conspired very quickly, and then he lost one of the biggest talents in world football, it just didn't seem to work at all for me. And now he's at the window, and Real Madrid will be looking for another new manager just a few months after appointing a new one already. It's bonkers, this modern football business. Managers never really have a chance. Now, we've all heard by now about the tragic passing of Vichai and the 4 other people involved in the helicopter crash at the weekend there, involving Leicester City's helicopter and the 5 people involved. But what I've really taken from it, obviously it's a very tragic event, but the camaraderie and the kind of whole world of football around Vichai and the achievements he's made, not only in football but outside of football as well, it's remarkable to see, and it really shows the camaraderie within a full football community over just one guy's talents and just him as a person in general. It really speaks volumes for the kind of guy that he was and the amount of respect that people had for him. The guy played a massive part in achieving the unthinkable with Leicester in the 2015-16 season, and to top it all off, he was a fantastic human being, which makes his legacy even more outstanding. Here's some of the brilliant stuff this man did for the community of Leicester. He donated £1 million to Leicester University. He donated £1 million to the Leicester Royal Infirmary. He gave Leicester City fans free beer, free scarves and free cakes, and who doesn't love a bit of them as football fans? He organised free bus travel to away games, and we all know how vital that can be to football fans as well. And of course he united the full city of Leicester when all the stuff happened with Leicester City in the 2015-16 season, which I spoke about before. And on top of that, he bought the players new cars once they'd won that season and really heaped praise on them. And he was the man behind the full story really. Of course, he put trust into the manager Claudio Ranieri, and then Ranieri went on to manage the team that won that season, and as I said, done the unthinkable and managed to win the Premier League in this modern day football age where money really does run everything, and on a shoestring budget in comparison to some of the clubs in the Premier League, Vichai was the man at the top of this success. And as I said, it really speaks volumes for the man of all those achievements that he's done there, all the kind of things that he's contributed to in the Leicester City community, and yeah, respect to him, and obviously massive respect to anyone who was involved in that crash, and my thoughts go out to everyone that's been affected by it. Rest in peace. It's that time of the week again we will do the part of the episode called This week's You Bellend features a classic face to many a Scottish football fan, Stephen Presley, or as he's also known, Pishy Brown Shoes. He had this to say earlier regarding him possibly returning to Scottish football in the future.
I've had several opportunities to return to the Scottish Premier League over the last 3 or 4 years that I've turned down, and one of the reasons was that I wanted to sample football in England and abroad, and also I don't think the Scottish game was in a particular good place at that time when you had the likes of Hearts in the Championship, Rangers in the Championship, Hibernian in the Championship. The Scottish top flight wasn't a particularly strong or attractive league.
So, he's had multiple offers in the last 3 or 4 years which he's chosen to turn down, which is absolutely fair enough if you take that on the face of it. But when you look at the reasons behind it, it doesn't really speak highly of his thoughts on the Scottish game in the last few years, and in my opinion it's the type of people we don't need in our game. Number one, because he wanted to sample football in England and abroad, which, if you look at it, I mean, it's fair enough he wants to go and travel around the world and just take in different aspects of football, but the fact that he'd rather be in England than come up here in Scotland, in his actual country, and be involved in the football up here speaks volumes of his thoughts on the game, and in my opinion, as I said, it's just not the type of people we need in this game at the moment. And number two, this is the good one, because he thought the Scottish game was in a bad place when Rangers, Hearts and Hibs were in the Championship. Now, obviously, stating the obvious here, but the Premiership is now a far more competitive and exciting league to be involved in when you've got those teams back in the Premiership, 100%. But for this bobag to come out and say that because the big boys won in the league, it kind of spoiled the party for him, the guy's got some audacity to come out and say things like that. The managers to come to our game have chosen to come to our game because they actually quite like the game itself anyway. Brendan Rodgers came to Celtic and hasn't really criticised the Scottish game at all since he's been here. Steve Clarke at Kilmarnock came and is loving life at Kilmarnock, and that also involves one of the teams that's not the big boys in the league that Stephen Presley was alluding to when he was saying that Scottish football was in a bad place without them. So Stephen, here's what I'd advise you to do. Go and sample the game in England or abroad, wherever you want to go, because you're certainly more welcome there, in my opinion. And I've got to say, your allegiances to Falkirk didn't exactly help you this one either. Bellend. And as usually in a Punt long, go full circle and back to my team, Dunfermline. I'll obviously cover more of this in Pars Roundup on Friday, but we had a game last night in Inverness and it was a 2-2 draw. A wee Aidan Keena masterclass was on show as he grabbed a brace in his first start for the club. My wee side note on that, by the way, it's probably too late for them to call him up now because the Edinburgh Derby is happening as you're watching this game. But Aidan Keena could possibly get called back by Hearts at some point this season due to the lack of striking options. Just saying. Here's hoping that doesn't happen. And that's it for this episode, guys. Cheers for watching. If you did enjoy, please give it a like, comment down below anything you thought about what I've said, and subscribe for more of this type of content. We're so close to 600 subscribers, so if you could let people know about the channel, then I'd be massively appreciative of that. I'd love to get 600 subscribers in the next week or so. And until the next video, which will be my month in football for the month of October, that'll be coming out tomorrow. I'll see you then. Cheers, guys.